Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Tier 4 here in SKG Season 16. We're here for Round 6. It is the Brazilian Grand Prix, and here we are then. It is qualifying to set the grid for Round 6 of the season. Like we just said, we are here around the Autodromo Interlagos. I want to say Autodromo... Oh, I don't know. But here we are, Brazil. Good track, fantastic track for racing. Obviously a very, very historic track. And yeah, fingers crossed it'll be a good race. I mean, after last week's shenanigans, if you tuned into the stream, you saw it was... Yeah, it was certainly something. We had 4 safety cars. Mind you, this is a stat which I'm going to take to my grave. I think it's a phenomenal stat. Around Singapore, we had a 31 lap race and we spent 14 laps under safety car. So you can imagine, as the commentator, it was a not very enjoyable experience, and I pray that we don't have to deal with that again, because oh my word, I'm worried. But fingers crossed that our guys can keep it clean, or keep it cleaner than what we saw last week. I think anything will be better than that. Anything. Oh, lordy lord. Anyway, let me go and get the stream chat up. So a few cars onto the track now, watching Master Alf in the Williams. Pat Pader in the Sauber, also out. And Keynes, as well as Smirky Lockett going out on the track, so... A lot of people coming out, so we're not going to constantly list on who's coming out, because that would just, well, be pointless, because everyone will come out eventually. Yeah, we have the Williams now coming up to the line, the run up to the line, quite a steep incline actually, well not steep, but quite a gradiently incline as he goes into the left-hander of turn 1. He could have carried a lot more speed through there, down through turn 2 and then round the long left-hander of turn 3. Onto another DRS zone here, as his teammate just on the left-hand side coming out of the pits. Now down into turn 4, left-hander goes a bit wide of the apex there. Does he keep it at 6? Yes, he does for the double right-hander of turns 6 and 7, I want to say. This is the apex there again. Quite wide. Go around the long left-hander in the middle sector here. Now the hairpin. Okay, so just fine, but on the exit has a huge spike of wheel spin. And yes, I'll be the best lap from the Williams, but he is still going, so he will be the first man to set a time. As out, oof. He had a wiggle there coming out of what I mean. I'll say this is the final corner, but technically this is. But yeah. But up to the line comes the Williams. What will the time be? It'll be a 10.4, so definitely time... Well, we'll see who is next to actually come to the line. As, yeah, Pat Pader over the line goes 2.1 seconds faster than the Williams. I am correct there, I just double check. Who'll be next? So there's a Ferrari coming round. Is that Keynes? Yes, it is. Keynes up to the line. He goes just behind Pader by 8 milliseconds. Very close indeed. Next up is the Mercedes, followed by the Ferrari of GB Sanson. GB Sanson goes over the line. That's 18 points. Well, not an 18. An 8.6. Slots in about 3 tenths behind his teammate. 3.5 tenths. And NASCAR Freak going in, currently driving for Aston Martin now after driving for Haas last week, I believe it was. So, teams. Maybe. As we saw Adrian go to the front on a 8.2, so that's currently the fastest time. This is a name we haven't heard in a while. Is this actually Neki, or is this someone just renamed himself Neki? But either way, he has gone to the front of the field, has Neki Ohio. Yeah, name I have not seen in a while. In the Red Bull. replacing Civet, is it tonight? Ah, yes, Civet did get a ban, didn't he? Yes, he did. After Civet's shenanigans in the last week's episode of Singapore, having an incident with a driver and I think crashing himself out intentionally. The stewards deems that, so he is sitting out tonight, and that is him. Yeah, wow. Yeah, fair enough then. And he went to the front, and the Mercedes actually went into P2 there on a 18, not an 18, an 8.4, 8.1. Oh my god, I need to stop saying 18. God damn. That's Teen, I want to say that name is. He's gone into P2, only fractionally behind the Red Bull there. Who is next to will be able to cross the line? Kevin Cow's coming up. Kevin Cow we'll keep an eye on as he's up to the line now. He'll be the last man, or the next man to set a time. And he goes into P7. P7 for him. Only 2 places behind his teammate. And only about 1/10 of a bit away. So yeah, good luck from the American. Gerv in the pink Racing Bulls. We know how quick he can be. After last week, I think he was definitely up there, and I think he was involved in some incident with somebody. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, Gerv is definitely one of the top guys in Tier 4 here this season. And up to the line he comes. What will the time be? And well, there we go. Just so we're talking about how fast he is, he goes to provisional pole on a 7.9. Notice how the gaps aren't even that big. We have, yeah, everyone kind of separated very, very marginally. So it's actually quite a close field from one to the other. As Hastaz has actually gone into P2, and for some reason I couldn't scroll back up. Yeah, there he is. So Mercedes slots just ahead of Neki by 9 milliseconds. Wow, this is very close actually. And this man Nout, who had a pretty quite a big stinker last weekend, last week around Singapore. I don't think he was. I think he did finish up higher than before. But he has gone up into P14 on an 8.7, so it'll feel much better today. So yeah, fingers crossed you can have a better one. We have cars coming out on the track. That's Kainzen and Adrian. Kamui, he is not on a lap. I think he might be starting one, or is he going to quit? He does come into the pit, so you have 10 minutes left in the session. And it's currently the Racing Bulls on provisional pole, with Adrian in the other Red Bull sponsored car to start his second lap of the session. He currently sits P6 on an 18.2, which was good enough for, well, fastest in the session about a few minutes ago. So yeah, you can see the time has, well, gone down by 0.3 of a second. So he's 3 milliseconds up in that first sector. So a tinsy wincy bit of gain for the Romanian in the Red Bull. This long double apex right-hander, absolutely lovely when you get it right. He's navigating the middle sector as he runs wide and does it invalidate on the curb there. That's a very odd place to invalidate on the exit there of the that long left. Yeah, Adrian's lap will not count. This man has just started his second lap of the session. He is still on. He has decided not to change tyres actually, so he's stayed on the tyres that he's done his first lap. So probably just saving a set of softs for the race, which I don't know if is a good idea, but I think it is an easy one-stop round around Brazil. Hards to mediums, mediums to hards, whatever you want to do. If we do have a late safety car, then you know them softs will come in handy. There's a flurry of cars coming out on the laps, as you can see through the middle sector. There's quite a few cars and coming over the line now. So we are watching the Ferrari as he's now going to be through the Sector 3 split. What is his time? He's a second down on his personal best, so he's not going to improve on his lap there. Flash is on a lap. Kevin is also on a lap. He's up on his time, as well as Rye. So there's actually quite a few people on laps here, so not sure who we should keep an eye on. NASCAR Freak, there we go. Talking about how his pedals feel better. Goes up into P6 on 8.1, so lovely lap from the Aston Martin. After having an absolute stinker last week out in Singapore. Yes, good to see from him. Someone else has just improved, I think. Adrian did improve. So he went for another lap and improved by about a tenth and a bit. Well, yeah, 1.05 tenths. Who else? Who's coming round? We've got 2 Saubers coming round. Pat Pader up by 1.4 tenths, so this could go launch him up higher. And he does improve, but doesn't improve his position. Interestingly, as Rye goes over the line, goes up to P5. And that is a Ferrari. Is that GB Sanderson? Yes, it is. GB Sanderson improves by nearly 2 tenths of a second, but it does, well, stays in P15. So the Ferrari not having the pace of the top 10 yet, as the Racing Bulls of team. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Tyne. There's a J in there, so I guess is he Dutch? Dutch, yep. Go figure. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but yeah. He goes the fastest by, crucially, only 6 milliseconds, so this grid is kind of close actually, as Neki has just improved by the number that shall not be named. Astaz has invalidated. Adrian is coming into the pit lane. Adrian's also in. He's down on his time. Adam Mako, he is pitted. I think now may be on a lap here, so we'll follow the McLaren as he makes the uphill run to the line. As Gerv goes fastest again, so Gerv beating back is going ahead of his teammate, as Nout does improve by over 2.5 tenths of a second, but only P15 for the McLaren is not been a great qualifying so far for him. Yeah, as you were saying, Gerv has gone ahead of his teammate again, who, well, did beat him, and then Gerv has taken back the pole honours. Racing Bull team, even with so we're missing Andapro, aren't we? Yeah, we are. I've only just noticed that. We are missing Andapro. Oh my god, how have I only just noticed that? NASCAR Freak saying plenty of time in the lap, so... Well, could we even see a NASCAR Freak pole position? If he strings together a lap. Only time will tell. We have well, a little under 5 minutes left in the session, so everyone will have time, as that's a pit entry and a half if I've ever seen one. As everyone, apart from Master Alf, is on in the pit lane. Or Master Alf. Well, let's have a look. Yeah, nearly a second behind the next closest car off GB Sanderson, though. So the Williams probably struggling quite a bit here, but oh well. As long as he enjoys it. Nice pit entry, Gerv. Yeah. Very, very sideways pit entry and a half. As another thing to note for the race is we do not know the weather in which our drivers will be navigating. We're going to obviously assume it's going to be a dry race, but you never know. Around Brazil, every time I race around Brazil, it always seems to have some sort of wet intervention. No idea why, but I guess Brazil is a naturally wet track. As who is that up to the line? It'd be Adrian to start his fight. Well, maybe second to final run. The Red Bull currently sitting in P6. The second Red Bull of the field, with Neki being up there in P3 at the moment. What will the first sector be for the Romanian? He's up by, well, nearly half a tenth, so it is an improvement for him. But I'm sure he'll want to improve even more than only that, as he will finish out the lap. As he navigates the middle sector now here in Brazil. Into the right-hand hairpin. And then he blasts downhill to the left as he comes to the Sector 3 split. What will the time be for him? He's 2.5 tenths up, is the Red Bull. So this, if he finishes this lap off, it will go, well, to probably inside the top 3, or maybe even pole position. Let's see how the final sector does for the Red Bull. Is this going to be pole position for the Red Bull? Up to line he comes, and he misses out crucially by, well, only 60 milliseconds. And he stays, well, puts himself P2, which is still a phenomenal result. But we'll have to wait and see if he's fueled for another run. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that stat. As cars coming out the pit lane now to start their final run of the session. As I think there's a bot in the chat. What the hell is that? Remove the space. What? I don't know what the hell I'm looking at there. Anyway, we are getting sidetracked by whatever the hell that is in chat. As Neki Ohio, currently sitting P4 after his teammate just went up into P2, will now start his final run in the qualifying, as there is 1 minute and 15 left. So the time ticking down, so it is going to get to the crunch point now of who can find the time and who can't. Keeper Sanson is up by 2 tenths, so he may even launch himself up here into the top 10. As, who was that going over the line? I think that was that Rye going up to P4? I think it was. Lovely lap from him. Keeper Sanson up to the line, can only manage P14 here in Brazil, so it's not been the best qualifying for him. Now, who's next up to the line? Is that going to be Neki? No, it is the other Red Bull of Adrian, who's actually going for another run. So it will be one of the Racing Bulls actually coming up to the line. Who is that? Oh, Adrian's spun through turn 1 and 2. So the Red Bull will not improve on what already is, well, P2, which is a lovely result. But who have we got? We've got Cars coming up to the line now. It's going to be now up to the line. Where will he go? Oh, he gets a good lap in the end there. It goes up to P8, so he saves himself from wherever he was before, as Neki has gone fastest by, well, so little, so close. The field is so close, you love to see it. Kamui has retired in the pit lane, he is done. He is sitting there in P12. What can Tyne do? As he goes P3, but it's so close. As he just pips Adrian by 15 milliseconds, as Kevin Cow has gone up to P7. And only crucially behind Hastaz and ahead of Adamaka. This grid is so close. You love to see it. Now, can Gerv do anything about Neki taking pole position? As he's 2 tenths down, it's going to be, I think that is it. I think Neki might have taken pole, unless someone from behind have strung together a lap and a half. Ascar Frick is down by 2 tenths here, and also is invalidated. Pat Pader there in P11. What can he do? We've got him coming up to the line now. Kainsen has unfortunately mistimed it, and he's not going to get a lap in, so he'll be P14. What can Pat Pader do? Goes up into P7, just ahead of his teammate. And that is qualifying done here in Brazil, with Neki Ohio taking pole position from the 2 Racing Bulls, and then Adrian in 4th, and then it is a Haas in P6 of Rye. Hastaz in P6, the two Saubers there in P7 and P8. Adamako and Nauts rounding out the top 10 in the McLarens. Doesn't deserve pole, he will see the race. What? As we know, just waiting on Hastaz to retire, and then we'll get the race underway. Yeah. Top four, top four, literally all Red Bull sponsored cars. As there we have it then. The top four separated by under a tenth of a second. What you love to see that. With Neki Ohio on pole from Gerv. And Teen and Adrian on the second row for Red Bull and Racing Bulls. Yeah, this goes 2 by 2 by 2. The Saubers there and the McLarens. Yeah, crucially the Ferraris there down in P14 and P16. They've had a stinker of a qualifying. The JG down in P18. Also there, we didn't notice, we forgot to mention him. So yeah. Let's get the race underway then, shall we? Let's see what the weather is doing as well. It is overcast. Okay. So we may have a bit of rain in the race. We will have to wait and see on that though. Yeah, very close quali. I think that's the closest I've ever seen tier 4 quali. Top 4 all separated by a tenth. Yeah, that is very close. And the rest of the field as well. They were all very, very close, so fingers crossed we have a good show and not four safety cars. I pray that we don't have 4 safety cars. Please. Can't take it again. As we are now waiting on everyone to, well, ready up, get the strategy sorted, get their tyres sorted. Interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see if anyone goes for the softs. I don't think it's really worth going for them. I'm not sure if, I can't remember. Last time I raced around here was a few months ago. And I think you can do a 1-stop here. I don't think you have to bother about doing the 2-stop. Clergy P15 and P17. Is that the Williams guys? I guess. So, well, yeah, we can just have a look here, can't we? What about this? Yeah, the Williams there. So yeah, it's actually all the guys kind of separated. What, 2 by 2 by 2? As I think I've just leaked everyone's tyre strategies, unfortunately. So I've kind of benefited some and not benefited the others. Oh no. Ah well. As it shall not be long. Hopefully that we get our race underway. So here we go then. The 5 lights are coming on here for round 6 here in Brazil. And they are underway. And we have no sound. As there we go, we are underway here in Brazil. Looks like Neki has got the start sorted as he has stayed ahead of Gerv. As there's 2 cars behind, Adrian and Teen are battling as they have already lost nearly a second to the front 2. So those 2 have had maybe even coming together as up at the front. Gerv and Neki are... Ooh, very fierce racing there. As in the background there's positions shuffling about. I think Flash has had some sort of incident. He's dropped down to last. Kevin, I think, has also had an incident. He's down to P17. So, yeah, people being shuffled back and forth as Pader and Rye are going side by side, are they? As Aston Martin off in the background, that's NASCAR Freak. I think he's missing an end plate on his right-hand side. So he's, yeah, unfortunately got damage. As what has gone on there is there's a car off Rye, as well as Smokey Lockett. As I don't know what happened there, but you just saw in the foreground that there was just 2 cars getting locked together. A pretty chaotic opening lap with cars going left, right, and centre. Up at the front, the front two have escaped from the only 2 that have started on the hard tyres, Adrian and Teen. As in the background, Hastaz is going to look up the inside of the Racing Bulls into turn 1. He's going to try and hold it around the outside, is he? No, he cannot actually do that. So Hastaz up into P4. And DRS obviously being enabled there. Will anyone get a move done? Pader close behind Adamako in the McLaren. But it doesn't look like anyone will be making any moves there into turn 4. This lap anyway. In the background there, GB Sanson going through the double left-hander. He's there in P9, so he's had a good start actually, has GB. Let's go up position changes. Yeah, he's up 7 positions, so he's had a great start, as well as JG behind. They are up 7 and 8 positions. So GB getting a good start there. That's exactly what he needed. I constantly press on 1, there we go. Does he actually have damage? I think I've just seen. Yeah, he's missing some end plate on his left-hand side, so interesting to note there that even with the damage, he's still up quite a few positions as Gerv takes the lead of the race here on lap 3. And can Neki fight him now? And well, put him uncomfortable. See as they run down towards turn 4. The Red Bull is closing, but I don't think he's close enough to make a move. He stays behind for the time being. As behind there is already a 2-second gap from Hastaz, who has just cleared Adrian. So top 3 now all are mediums as the 2 hard runners who are going to try and go longer. Now falling down to P4 and 5. I'm starting 3rd and 4th. See, there's a little train forming behind these guys, including 2 McLarens, Pat Pader. Well, everyone basically down to Flash, as Kamui and NASCAR Freak have been into the pit lane to, well, you have to say, change their get their wings sorted. As what has happened here? Adrian has had some sort of incident. I completely missed that because I had to refresh my chat. Adrian has gone down. Something has happened to the Red Bull. He is now down to P16. And well, yeah, out of DRS and everything. So something has happened to the Red Bull. I've completely missed. I'm so sorry, guys. I was just trying to refresh my chat or refresh my stream. And of course I've missed something quite crucial in the race. So yeah, Adrian down to P16. Obviously he's on the hards. So he will go longer than everyone else who's on the mediums. But yeah, not good for him. He's now down to the back of the pack. As Smirky Locket getting past, I assume that is through on Master Alf. As he does up into P12. Now goes the Mercedes. And with Adrian having it instant, GB Sanson is now up 1 more position. Obviously he has that damage, but well, you hope it doesn't affect him too bad. As I think is that Adrian again. Adrian has had some off again through the final few corners, and the Red Bull struggling now all of a sudden. After sitting there in P3, now down to, yeah, he's still in P16, but he's so far now off the back of the pack. Yeah, 6 seconds, or 7-ish seconds or whatever, off the back of the field, which is from Flash. Pretty much up to the lead. But with a 36 lap race, we still have 31 laps remaining, so still plenty of time for Adrian to come back through. The top 2 still about 2 seconds clear of Hastaz, with Team doing a good job staying within the DRS of the Mercedes. And we'll go get past Neki Ohio again, who I saw actually retook the lead, as these two just DRS swapping to potentially pull a gap to the rest of the field, which, well, it's quite a smart play as long as you don't battle too hard and, well, screw yourselves over. The gap actually has come down substantially through that with that section. Hastad's gained, well, quite a bit. So, just dumping the battery possibly. As the two Williams changing positions with Flash getting past Master Alf. Yeah, gap hovering about 1.5 seconds. So, well, come down now. So we're down to 1.3 all of a sudden there. So Hastad just wants to break into this this 1 second window so he can then be pulled along by the front two. Yeah, about half a second between, excuse me, Neki Ohio and Gurv. I think Neki might be too far back to make a move. He will be indeed as they run into turn one. If any moves go further behind, I think Pader and Adam Acko are going to change positions there. Now in the background, trying to get past his teammate. And can he do it with ease, or will they swap positions? Doesn't look like they will. So Adam Acko stays down in P6 now after being passed by the Sauber. As here comes now, oh, he goes onto the curb and almost spins the car. That was almost close to death by the Polish driver. Good lord, that was heart and mouth stuff for him. God. As NASCAR Freak picks up the first time penalty of the race, as he's down in last place, unfortunately, after having that lap one incident. GB Sanson is actually very close to the back of the McLaren here, who, as we say that, then speeds away past. As what has happened here? Timing's being weird. Oh no, it was team actually getting past Taz. So yeah, the racing bulls, even on the hards, showing really good pace here. So you have to think, if he's showing that the pace, getting past Taz on the mediums, you have to think, what is his pace going to be like on the mediums? See the Dutchman now up into P3, almost within a second of our top two. So yeah, the Racing Bulls once again in Tier 4 just being so strong. As Adam Acko seems to have some sort of incident, he's down now into P15 after we saw battling with his teammate there in P6, I think it was. Has now gone down to P15. So no damage on the McLaren, so maybe just a spin or being spun by somebody else. Yeah, but unfortunately for him, yeah, now out of the points. Let's see, some gaps are now, well, over a second, so the field has spread a bit more than it was in qualifying. See, through our top 10, they're off about 1 second gaps throughout the field, as GB Sanson has been passed there by JG and Keynes. I was thinking, was he letting them go there? I've been letting his teammate go, but it did looked odd as he let through the Haas too. So maybe GB with that damage, just wanting to benefit his team, which is fair play for Ferrari. With Keynes now up into P8 and now following the Haas, who we know started dead last. So yeah, he's now up 11 positions. Is the Haas? So yeah, he's had we're only on lap 9. So he's had a great race so far. And crucially, up at the front, the gap between team and Neki is now well within under a second. So the Racing Bulls has done it and got into a second of the top two and dragged Taz along. So yeah, the front fight is definitely spicing up with the two Racing Bulls and the Red Bull, as well as the Mercedes. Will Keynes make a move on JG. He doesn't this time round, but out of turn 4. Will he be able to get a run down into turn 6? Doesn't look like he will be able to this time. As in the background there, what has gone on there? There was a car going off. I think that was Rye. Was it Rye? I think it was actually someone avoiding action. So he's lost his whole front wing. And unfortunately for him, he's got to navigate the whole middle sector now without a front wing. So he's going to drop down so far. Well, even with the pit stop. So unfortunately for the Haas, the points may have just slipped away. Still leading here on lap, whether we start lap 11. Nicky not being able to make a move on the Racing Bulls for a few laps now. As will any moves be made up and down the field. It looks like everyone is staying in position. A few penalties coming the way of drivers. So yeah, Rye is now into the pit lane, so unfortunately for the Haas, it's not been the best of races, unfortunately for him, after tangling with I think it was Smirky Lockett on the opening lap. Unfortunately now getting that wing damage. Yeah, he's way off the back of the field. The gaps are now here on lap 11 as we're going to start lap 12 in a few seconds time. Gap nearly half a second, well under half a second now. Even the team getting in on the action here. Will he even be able to make a move on one of these guys soon? As yellow flag out. Who is that gone round? I think it is Master Alf has gone round out of the final corner. So the Williams bringing out a brief yellow flag, but it's now gone away. As GB Sanson and Smirky Lockett, GB getting his wing changed, so he's going to lose crucial time, unfortunately for him. He will stay ahead of NASCAR Freak, but will be jumped by Smirky Lockett, who's come in for his should be one and only pit stop, with the Haas being easily able to go the end of the race as bangs the pit lane wall on the outside there. Has he given himself any damage? He has not. That would have been pretty embarrassing. Anyway, the gaps up at the front, quite similar between everybody. Team, closest to any of them. I think there will be a move here actually between JG and the Haas of JG and Keynes, should we say? As I say that, but JG has managed to actually get into the DRS of Nout in P6, so as all Flash gets a 10-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. It's quite a tricky pit lane with the speed you carry in at and how fast the line approaches you, so it's an easy mistake to make. But yeah, unfortunately, it's caught out the Williams. Two drivers, two Haas-powered, well not Haas-powered, two Ferrari-powered cars following the Mercedes. Mercedes-powered McLaren. Oh boy, we are having a fumble tonight. Oh my god. As Teen's got a penalty. Wait, what? Teen's got a penalty on the straight. Somehow. That's confusing. Yeah, crucially, Teen getting a 3-second time penalty while going along the straight. Don't know what the hell happened there, but crucially, the other front three have all pit. So yeah, it's Gov, Neki, and Hastaz. All of them started on the mediums, apart from this man. So he will go a lot longer in the race. Yeah, hope to, well, now have to build a 3-second to the guys who now will emerge on the hard tyres. He needs to use his pace now. Use up those hard, well, conserve them mostly, but use the pace that he has in that Racing Bulls to now try and, well, minimise the damage done by the guys now on the fresh tyres. We're watching another man who unfortunately did get a penalty. Not as severe as, well, more severe than Keane's, and it was a 10-second penalty as, well, we just said it. Another man getting the 10-second penalty, and that is Kainton in the Ferrari, unfortunately for him. So he comes in, goes off the mediums, onto the hards. But yeah, now he's got a 10-second looming over him. As Kevin has been disqualified for the wrong way. What on earth? As here he is. As he has a puncture on, he had a puncture somehow, and the game has disqualified him. I guess he's missed the pit lane or something. But Kevin Cow being disqualified here on lap 15 as Rye has gone off. What has gone on here? As he resets the track. But he's going again. He's lost his whole front wing again. So, yeah, Rye having a as he crashes himself out of the race, and oh dear, we got that on the stream too. So that's not great for him. As the is that the VSC being called out? So the VSC out on the circuit now after that intentional DNF from the Haas. We seem to catch the intentional DNFs. We saw Civic last week, and now we just seen Rye this week. I feel like I'm on Crime Watch. Oh my god. As always, the Williams actually double stacking here in the pit lane. Yes, it is. The Williams are double stacking, but Flash with that 10-second as NASCAR Freak retires after him getting himself a 10-second. So everyone getting, as all Hastaz gets a drive-through, and he was one of our top 4, so that is him basically done. Unless he can obviously pull it, well, get that gap back, but with the drive-through, that's going to be very, very difficult. As VSC has now gone in, and will Hastaz serve it? No, he will not. As JG has come into the pit lane now, go off the mediums and go onto the hards, which will take him to the end of the race. With a very, very respectable stint on those mediums, 16 laps. So yeah, good stint for him. But Keane still out on the circuit, still going 11 seconds. The gap is well, Adrian actually, Adrian who we had those earlier spins, is now there in P2, holding up Gerv for his teammate actually. So this could be controversial for Gerv, as he's now going to hold up the Racing Bulls to probably allow his teammate to get a lot closer. And yeah, he is doing that to a T. So Adrian being the Sergio Perez, Minister of Defense. As there goes Gerv, but crucially Neki will also go with them. Hastaz with the drive-through. Does not serve it this lap, as Adrian's going to come back on Gerv. So Adrian being a nuisance to the Racing Bulls, as the Racing Bulls has a little bit of a half spin. As this is just getting a bit messy now, as the Red Bulls are going side by side and almost having a coming together. And Gerv will not enjoy that one bit, as he had almost got spun around by Adrian. The gap that he had over Necky is now diminished. It was about 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds, I think, but is now gone due to the actions of the Necky's teammate. But yeah, drama. When will we see this man come into the pit lane? I assume it'll be lap 22, maybe. Lap 22, I want to say 22, 23-ish. Yeah, so we're not expecting him in for another few laps, as Gerv has actually managed to got the gap up again to over a second. So Gerv showing that he has a lot of pace in that car, as unfortunately for Hastaz, he's serving the drive-through now. And yeah, he is going to fall down. Will he be able to get past by the Ferraris? I think he will do. As yellow flag out. What's happened to somebody? Is that Adrian? Yeah, Adrian has gone around again. So Adrian struggling and has lost half of his front wing on the left-hand side, as he lets the two Ferraris and the halves of JG go through. So it's not been a great day for Adrian. After qualifying inside the top 4, yeah, he's going to fall down to, well, probably the back of the field with that wing damage, and obviously having to do, he'll have to go into the mediums. I don't think the mediums will take him to the end, but we'll see if he retires actually from the session. As team has just gotten past the ghost car of Kamui. Did he leave? I guess he did. I didn't even see him leave. I know for a fact I don't even have him added. I didn't even notice he left. I don't know how long ago he's been gone. There's the gap between our top 2. Very, very close here. Half a second between them. As Naut, Naut disconnected. I know I have him added. Let's try and get him back in as soon as we can. Naut, who I think was running, well, as he's not even popping up, so Reggie, do your thing. As yeah, he was running up there in P6, P5 even, he's been passed now by Smirky Lockett. So Naut being hit with a disconnect, unfortunately, mid-session. As we hope Reggie can get him back in as soon as possible, as he is being caught, unfortunately, by the two Ferraris and the Haas, as well as Hastaz. So unfortunately for the Polish driver, he's going to lose so much time here with that disconnect. And there's nothing he can even do about it, as JG has gone up the inside of GB into turn 1, so the Haas now up in P8. GB down to P9. I'm going to try and get Naut in myself. I hope he's going to pop up somewhere. Let's just scroll through until we can find him. As that's not, bro. It's not even showing me my whole friends list. Ah, there we go. Out. There we go. Got him an invite. Hopefully he can rejoin. As team has now come into the pit lane to get off the hard tyres. So yeah, lap 22, like we said. He'll go into the mediums that will take him to the end of the race. We'll see what can the Racing Bulls do. I think he'll get out ahead of the ghost car of Naut. It might actually be close, but Naut being ghosted. Actually, will he get out of Kainton? I think it'll be close here on exit. As yeah, there is the Racing Bulls, and here comes the Ferrari. They're going to be side by side going into turn 4. Kainsen later on the brakes and gets ahead, but Teen had that inside and is going to get back through, or are they? They're going to go side by side through the middle sector, through turns 6 and 7. They're going to stay side by side with Naut's ghost car there in the middle of them. But yeah, Teen comes out of the pit lane crucially and gets now the clean air to go and chase Smirky Locket and, well, the top 3 in the race. As now, unfortunately, now we're just going to lose more positions as through goes Hastaz on him. As now down is P9 now, and GB Sanson will also get through. I invited now. I did. Yeah, I sent him an invite. I'll get him another one in. So hopefully he'll get back in. He now loses positions to GB Sanson, so now it's only him, well, his teammate in P11 that can take the 1 point away from him now. There's a gap at the front. Half a second between Gerv and Neki as we are starting lap 24. With 12 laps remaining in the race. That's Kainsen being chased by Johan or Guriant. Never know how to pronounce his name. Thought I would, but I don't. As the team has, well, escaped the DRS of Kainsen, and he is now chasing after the P4 man of Smirky Locket. Can he even get a podium? I think it might be tough with Pat Pader here, comfortably sitting in P3 at the moment, as now finally gets back in the lobby. So yeah, but the damage has already been done, as he's gone from, well, it was P5 I think, down to P10. Yeah, not great. Anyway, not much can be done about that. As a lot of the guys now separated by over a few seconds, apart from this little battle we have here. Between Kainsen and JG. Kainsen has just actually got past the Haas, so we missed another overtake. As in the background there, swerving left and right goes the Haas. Trying to look for an opening on the Ferrari. As Adrian speeds into pit lane and does retire from the race, so yeah, Adrian done for the day. After having quite a tough afternoon. He is the 3rd or 4th DNF here on lap 25. And Wednesday the added to the crossfire. What the fuck? As the gap up at the front has now extended to nearly 1.5 seconds, so yeah, Gerv picking up the pace here on lap 25. No, lap 26 actually. Yeah, we got that wrong. And Pat Pader has actually managed, well, closing in on Neki, so good the Sauber even get a P2 here. He's looking comfortable for a podium. He's even got fresher tyres than the 2 cars ahead of him. keep an eye actually on the salvage progress. Closes in on the Red Bull. Will he be able to get the DRS coming out of here? Well, the gap has extended, but there it goes, under a second. Let's watch the rear wing of the Sauber. It does go open, there we go. So Pader now has the DRS to go and, well, try and pass Neki Ohio. And maybe even win here in Brazil, as he's only got, well yeah, got to pass Neki. I think Gerv isn't that far up the road, so can he do it? As the team has now caught Smirky Lockett. So team looking on the back of the Mercedes P4 here. They're using the battery, the rear light flashing on the Mercedes. Well, I thought he was going to go for a move there, but he backs out. He's, yeah, used a lot of battery, has the two cars there. So they'll want to save through that middle sector. The gap between JG and Keynes is still hovering, as Stanson and Naut are also battling. So Naut may even get a P9 here after his unfortunate disconnect. As he will have the DRS assistance in a few corners' time to propel him down the main straight into turn 1. And can he get this move done here on GB Sanson? He's got a better exit than the Ferrari as he opens the DRS. Will this be a slam dunk move for the Polish driver? GB defends the inside, or just, well, moves to the middle of the track, and now goes round the outside of him and goes up now into P9, taking the 2 points away from Sanson, who now will be only scoring 1. And he's got a 5-second gap to Hastaz. So he may catch it, but we'll keep one eye on the everything else and one eye on that. As Pader has actually got past Neki, so yeah, Pat Pader now up into P2, but Neki's still there, so Neki may just try and repass him. Yeah, gap half a second as we open the DRS. I think Neki is too far behind to make any moves here. And yes, he is. So it's now down to Pat Pader. Can he now go and catch Gerv? Gap hovering around, well, about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds. Oh yeah, it'll be interesting to see now. The Red Bull not being able to match the pace of the V-Carb, as Neki looks for a move there into turn 5. That was a risky area to go for a move as he runs wide out of turn 7 there. So, it's the dirty air just, well, not helping him at all. His quest to stay with him. As Keynes and JG still battling. Gap has been, well, under a second between these two for quite a majority of the race. So it's good to see that they've got very, very equal pace. Will the Ferrari go for a move here on the Haas? It's a little bit too far behind for the time being. Behind Hastaz is slowly reeling them in. Gap under 2 seconds. So the Mercedes may even join this little 2-car battle for P6. And another thing to note, that they are actually catching the other Mercedes of Smirky Lockett. who's on, well, 5 lap older hard tyres than the two cars around him. The two cars behind him, should we say. As GB Sanderson still in the DRS of the McLaren. So maybe even trying to think of a move past the McLaren very, very shortly. Now it does have the 3 lap older tyres, or 3 lap younger tyres, should we say, than the Ferrari. So we'll have that little bit of a pace advantage. Up at the front, the gap is, well, that came under a second there, very, very briefly, between Pat Pader and Gerv. So this Sauber has all of a sudden unlocks a huge amount of pace. He's using it to good effect to actually catch the race leader. Yeah, the gap under a second now. So it'll be interesting to see, will he get DRS actually down the main straight? The gap now, well, 9/10 of a second, 8/10 of a second. So he will have the DRS now, out of the final corner here. So the Sauber now goes after the race lead. So we're going to start lap 32. So 4 laps, well, 5 laps remaining. 4 laps including the final lap. It is now well, it was Necky versus Gerv. It is now Pat Pader versus Gerv for the race win here around Brazil. And for a race that has been quite average, well, not quite average, very average. We hope that we can have some sort of late drama, spice it up a bit. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. With the corners ticking down, the laps ticking down. Yeah, the JG and Kainzen have now caught the back of Smirky Lockett. Unfortunately for Hastaz, his teammate is now actually going to drag the 2 cars ahead of him further away with the DRS. As always, he goes onto the grass on the outside, and now it's going to leave a gap up the inside for the Haas, as he's going to look round the outside here of the long left-hander. As into the final corner they go. Looks like the Haas is going to get ahead. He's ahead now, but the DRS detection point is, well, just been. So the Haas has gotten through, but the Mercedes with the DRS is going to easily repass him. Or will he? Or will even the Ferrari but get a double overtake here into turn 1, as the Haas nearly outbrakes himself as oh my god, I'm having a nightmare tonight. Oh god. Cannot get my words out to save my life. As I've only just seen Pat Pader has now taken the lead here on lap 33, as Kainzen has now got up into P6. But yeah, Pat Pader now up into the race lead. Past Gerv, who has been leading for so long. But yeah, let's see now, what can Sauber do? Can he break the DRS? With Necky Ohio falling back to 2.5 seconds. So these two were in a league of their own at the moment. That's out of the final corner, the gap extending to 0.7 of a second. So the Sauber really having good pace here. Have a look at position changes. Pat Pader, who started P7 actually. Yeah, looking for the win here, so he's a great drive. So we're on lap 34. Only 2 laps remaining here in Brazil. A few gaps under a second. JG Kainzen as the 2 Mercedes swap positions there. Hastaz getting through on, well, Smirky Lockett, who does have that time penalty. That's actually one thing we will have a look at. Kainzen with that 10-second penalty. Yeah, unfortunately for him, he's not going to finish P6. He's going to drop down quite a few positions here. I think he's even going to drop behind his teammate there in P10. So I think he will, well, he'll finish down in P10, I think, here. So everyone ahead, well, behind him will move up one. Yeah, not ideal for him. But other penalties include Team on 3 seconds, Flash on 3 seconds, and Master Alpha on 6 seconds, as well as Smirky Locket having that 3-second time penalty. So, yeah, positions will be, will change around when we cross the line. As, well, 9 seconds now for Master Alpha, as he gets his third 3 seconds. Up in front here. Gap hovering under half a second between our front two. It's good. On the 20 lap up one old tyres with Pat Pader only on 20. So there is a 1 lap tyre difference between these two. It won't be that much difference. As we're going to come round the final corner now to, well, as we're going to run up to the line to start our final lap of the race. Race that has been, well, controlled by Gerv with a few pestering attacks from Neki. Has now been snatched away by the Sauber, who has shown brilliant pace. As yeah, we're onto the final lap here with Sauber comfortably leading for the time being as we're onto the DRS straight. As who's that gone around? That is Master Alf going around. Unfortunately for him, he's, well, a lap down, so he will be on his final lap too. As the gap almost extending to a second out of turn 5 there. As the gap to Neki is, well, 4 seconds now, so yeah, not having the pace of our front two, but still a good result for the Red Bull. With the other one down in P15 and out of the race, Red Bull will still score a podium as it stands. So still good points for them. Up at the front, the gap has, well, come down quite a bit, so will we even see a move here up to the line? I don't think we will do. The gap is too big between our top two, but here we go then. The man of the hour, man of the race, Pat Pader. Over the line he comes from P7 to the win. Sauber wins here in Brazil with Gerv coming home in P2. Neki going to come home for a podium here in P3. Teen in the Racing Bulls. Well, he has that 3-second time penalty, so it'll actually be JG finishing in P4. And Keynes, unfortunately for him, with the 10 seconds, is going to fall back behind the two, the Ferrari, not Ferraris, yeah, the two Mercedes. And with now actually getting past Smirky Locket with the penalty. So he recovers to score 6 points for McLaren. They're in P7. And yeah, Keynes and GB Sanderson finishing in 9th and 10th. So 3 points for the Ferrari team, with Adamako being there in P11 and 2 Williams drivers. Unfortunately for them, finishing in just outside the points. And the Alpine, who we didn't even know had disconnected, it will finish in last, and that will be our race here in Brazil. Yeah, I must say, quite an average race. But yeah, interesting to watch that front group. Yeah, Pat Pader taking the win from Gerv, and Neki Ohio getting a podium there in Red Bull. And yeah, lovely drive from Jehan Giriant. I never know. Never will know how to pronounce it. He's gone from last to up into P4. So yeah, up 14 positions for the Haas driver. So yeah, great drive. Team there in P5. Haas Taz in P6, now in P7. Smirky Locket there in P8, and the 2 Ferraris rounding out our top 10. And yeah, that is the race done. We'll go ahead and get the race director if anyone needs it. There we go. Anyway, guys, that has been your SKG Season 16 Round 6 here in Brazil for Tier 4. For a race that has been kind of boring, to be honest, to commentate on, if I'm going to be honest, but yeah, fingers crossed that Tier 3 tomorrow will be a bit better, as well as Tier 2 on Saturdays, 5 PM, and well, you'll be joining me again in the commentary booth for Tier 1 on Saturdays, 8 PM, alongside my good friend GB Sanson, who will be returning again. And yeah, I shall see you guys then. Until then, goodbye.